Hi guys, it's Kia Waters. It's Kia Waters. Hi guys, how's everybody today? Hey my boss babes. How's everybody today? Hey my boss babes. Woo! I'm so glad y'all can make it today. Woo, we got through the week, my boss babes. Can I get an amen? Can I get an amen for making it through the week? Shout out to everybody who's online right now on Facebook, Instagram, and Bigo Live. You know, I stay streaming or whatever. But anyway, guys, I'm so glad you're here. And, you know, it's just time to wash this emotional laundry. Just bring it out. Just bring it out. We're cleaning this emotional laundry today. We don't need to be taking no negative emotions into the next day, into the next week, into the next year. We're cleaning it out. Okay? And, you know, I know it's been a busy week for all of us, you know, so I hope you have your drink of choice. You okay? And it's time for some healing, wine, and story time. All right, so cheers to Facebook, cheers to Instagram, and cheers to Bigo Live. Thank you guys for joining in. Okay, well, if you missed it last week, I'm going to give y'all a little recap because we got in good last week. Ooh, we got in so deep. I talked about something I had never, like, verbally expressed in my life, you know, out loud, especially to the whole world. It was on our episode of Keeping It 100 with Yourself, listening to yourself. Okay, and I talked about a story of a time participating in a relationship with a man who had a baby on the way. Yes, I did. With a coworker that we worked with. Oh, guys, I dug in deep. It really happened to me, and it was really, you know, a learning experience for me. You know, it was. I mean, I look back at it, and for a long time, I was ashamed I even participated in something like that. I allowed, you know, him or me to even stoop so low. But guys, I've healed from it, you know, and I no longer regret it. And I told the story to prevent others from making the same mistake, and you know, to heal anybody who has, you know, gone through anything like that in the past. You know, because sometimes we can be ashamed of things that we've done 2, 3, 5, 10 years ago and be carrying it around every day. You know, our self-esteem just, you know, not where it's supposed to be. So we're not doing it no more. So that's why I told the story. Because you know what? Anybody can go through stuff as long as you take the time, the energy, and the light within you to glow up your emotional, to glow up your whole, your emotional, do that emotional work on the inside. Once you do that emotional work, you're ready. You're getting stronger. You're maturing. And then you can keep that confidence at a high level. You don't have that baggage with you, tearing you down, weighing you down. So that's why I told that story. You know, on today's topic, we're going to be talking about how you can shield yourself from emotional reactions. And, you know, before I do that, I just want to, you know, if you guys missed that last one for keeping it 100 with yourself, you can find that on my YouTube. You just go to my website, infinitewaters360.com. Scroll all the way down to the YouTube icon at the bottom, and you can catch last week's show if you missed it. But today's topic is really, you know, it's all about shielding yourself from emotional chain reactions. You may ask, you know, what's an emotional chain reaction? I'm going to tell you guys. But first, I'm going to ask you guys, like, I want you guys to join in. You know what I'm saying? I want to see you guys. I want to talk to you guys. So, for Instagram, you guys, if you want to talk and speak, all you need to do is back out, X out of the live, and then come right back in, and it'll give you an icon to join the speaker, to request to speak. Because I want to hear from you guys. Okay? Now, before I go into the story, guys, I wanted to show you this. It's from my accessory appreciation portion. Because, you know, accessories really glow us up. They build us up. They make us feel, you know, they bring out that natural, that vibrancy, that beauty that's in us. It brings us out, it just enhances our, you know, natural swagger. And today's topic relates to these accessory appreciation pieces. These earrings are the Love and Peace earrings Okay, I'm going to show you guys. All right, and you see it says love, peace, hope, faith, unity, and kindness. Okay, these earrings is going to really, these earrings really show us or embody what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to set these down right here. And of course, you can get them at EarringEverything.com, guys. Okay, so what is an emotional chain reaction? Well, an emotional chain reaction is something that you may have done or said that it causes a chain of events, that injures, or destroys a relationship between you and someone else. Okay? And, someone that you care for and leads to a chain reaction of negative emotions within you. Okay? I mean, how many of y'all have been there, been in a situation where you're having a conversation with somebody, you may have said the wrong thing, offended them, things got out of hand, and next thing the relationship is in jeopardy. You're breaking up. The friendship is over. Whatever. And everything is just gone to hell because of something that you may have said or done, and the person didn't take it the way that you would have hoped that they would have taken it. That's an emotional chain reaction because after that happens, we hurt inside. We feel like, damn, I really wasn't trying to do that. I really missed this friendship or this relationship. I was just really trying to get this person to understand, where I was coming from. And I was trying to communicate that to them, and obviously they weren't receptive. Turned into an argument, a disagreement, and it injured the relationship. So this is the emotional chain reaction I'm talking about. And it could be a comment. It could be maybe you didn't invite or maybe excluded someone from an event or a situation. And or maybe some unsolicited advice. You really wanted to help them, so you like maybe I should tell them this, and you told them and they were completely offended. There's so many ways to offend people, these days. And it matters mostly, because when you regret, when you feel guilty, and you mourn the relationship, the loss of relationship, you're wounded, and that internal emotional chain reaction within you halts your progression. You're carrying it around with you. You're feeling sad. You're mourning the loss of that relationship, that friend, that lover. And that's a big deal. That's a big deal because it blocks you from your greatness, from your path. You can't really focus on what you want to do, what your goals are, studying, education. You're thinking about you know what you did wrong. You're feeling like you're beating yourself up. We could be our worst enemies. And don't get me wrong. Sometimes people need to hear the truth, but we need to fully assess the situation and be aware of the consequences that follow. So that when we speak out or give that person that unsolicited advice, that comment, we have a clear conscience and we're okay with the consequences that follow. And it's just being a little bit, it's that emotional maturity that I'm talking about, y'all, that emotional maturity. That's some real talk right there. You know, Nobody taught us how to be emotionally mature, not in school. Parents rarely do. They just tell you what to do, what not to do. But they don't really tell you, how to break down every feeling or everything that you may have. All those feelings that you may have, how to process them. You know, how to turn those feelings into action. And that's why we're having this live today, y'all, because I wasn't taught it, and I'm telling you guys, woof, in my 20s, y'all, I was blunt. Everything was black and white, right or wrong. I said how I feel, and, forget, how the person felt about it. If it was right, it was right. They need to, get on the right train because they wrong, and I had a horrible delivery. I had friendships that ended, arguing in my relationships. Oh my God. I mean, just arguing. And nobody wants to argue with somebody they love, they have feelings for, and stuff like that. So, it caused me a lot of emotional scars, because, I would feel bad. I'd beat myself up. Why can't this person just understand, where I'm coming from? And, some people can relate to me, on this, may have been there. But if you have already had really good delivery your whole life and you've never had any situations like this, great for you, but pay attention because I'm a dig deep. All right, so I'm gonna tell y'all a story. But before I tell a story, I'm gonna tell y'all, we can beat we can beat ourselves up worse than anybody else can beat us up, like for real. No one can make us feel worse than we can. So we have to make sure that, whatever emotional, feelings that we have that are blocking us from success, like frustration, anger, and insecurity, those emotional blocks have to be dealt with properly. And we have to heal ourselves. We have to forgive ourselves. That's one. You gotta forgive we gotta forgive ourselves. But let me go into the story so I can, really just, let y'all know where I'm coming from and, what my experience was. That I look back at it and I had a lot to learn. Okay, so I moved to California, with a friend of mine. I'm from Baltimore. Moved to California with a friend of mine. We was go getters, ride or die. We hung out, and we shared a dream of being successful in Los Angeles. And I thought we was gonna, our both of our energies was, where they needed to be. Our swaggers and our appearances was there. We got there, and it was the world was our oyster. But what the issue that we had was, she had, well, she turned into a friend who's really an enemy. And, it happened because, she said disrespectful things to me, just out of pocket stuff, to belittle me. And I don't know if it had to do, like, why it was directed towards me, but, later, I found out it would be because, she was dealing with a lot of emotional pain from, a broken relationship with her mom. And she had a lot of anger, built up inside. So, a lot of resentment and stuff. So, and she was young too, but, this was what happened, two young people, two young girls or whatever. And, so we be in a grocery store and she, hey, bitch, pull up and find some, something embarrassing in the drug, section of the store. Hey, don't you need this? Just craziness. And I'm like, but, I'm from Baltimore. So, I mean, you don't think you're going to say anything out your mouth to me. So I would slide her back, and it was just really toxic, back and forth, back and forth. So we were living together, in Los Angeles, and the resentment, between us had built up, so much, guys, and she started, talking crass to me on Instagram, I mean, not Instagram, Twitter. This is when Twitter first came out in 2009. We had an account. She started talking crazy to somebody else, and she tweeted it out. And mind you, we in the same house. She in this room, I'm in this room. So she talking crazy about me on Twitter, and I seen it because I follow her. And I responded. I'm like, no, you're not. So, we going back and forth, people chiming on Twitter, oh my God, all of this. And, it got heated and, I'm going to do this to you. No, you're not. All of this on Twitter, So finally, I'm like, it escalated. We started arguing, through the wall. She opened up the door. And it was a fight happened. It went down. It went down in real life, not in the DMs. It went down in real life. And I look back at it, and I wish I could have just been more emotionally mature where I am now to have maybe talk to her about maybe some of the things she was dealing with, or or just come just more in a more kind and peaceful way. But I was young too, and I felt attacked. So I came back and attacked her, and she attacked, and it was just back and forth. So we straight up brawling in our apartment. So finally, the fight broke up or whatever, and she went in her room, and called the police. I heard her whispering on the phone with the police. Yes, yes. And I'm like, no, she stopped, So I go and I call the police too. Call the police. The police come. We tell them, what happened, what's going on, and they arrested her actually that day because she had scratched me like on my face, and I had, I had scratches. So because I had physical injury, they took her away. That was the last time I seen her, y'all. That was the last time I seen her. That was 2009. And like I said, knowing what I know now, would have never let things get that far. You know, I did care for her as a friend, at one time. And I hate that things ended the way that they did. I truly do. We had a lot of fun together, and I truly believe that she was a decent person, but she was just dealing with some things in her life or in her emotional, um, within her, and it came out really, toxic. So, I should have either participated, I shouldn't have participated in a negative back and forth with her, but I was young too. I tried to help her heal. I should have tried to help her heal or just ended the friendship. And, I just want to let you guys know that I wanted to tell you guys a story because it's so important to be able to end problems before they start. And that's some real stuff. Preempt any problems that can people that maliciously want to manipulate and hurt you. Don't get me wrong. They're unpredictable. They are not in it to have a peaceful, loving relationship. They are in it to lie to you, drive you crazy, use you, manipulate you, and abuse you. Okay, I'm talking about with relationships of substance, keeping those relationships of substance healthy and preventing emotional fallout and destruction of the relationship. Okay, so I'm telling you guys this because it's just so important because, especially when it's somebody you really care about, you really bonded with, and you really just want to be able to, go back in time and unsay what you said or undo what you did or maybe talk it out or pick up the phone when you were too stubborn, at the time to do it because you was like, no, she gonna call me. No, I know he better do this because if he don't do, how we do that internal talking when we angry, when we frustrated, and we just really we put ourselves in a position where we know that if we did something else, things will have a better outcome, but we feel like we want to protect ourselves and but really at the end of the day, was it worth it? And that's what I'm gonna go into next. These tips that can really help you to be able to determine is it worth it, and how to avoid, these emotional chain reactions from happening. Okay, these are the 3 steps. One is you got to assess the person. Every person that you deal with is not going to be the same. Every person you deal with is not going to be the same. Some people are going to be, super emotional. Some people are going to be super real. Some people are going to be like really, down to earth, but just have their own point of view on life. Everybody is super different. So you have to get to know who you're dealing with, what type of person you're dealing with. That's one. Are they the kind of people that are honest with themselves? Some people are not even honest with themselves, y'all. They walking around every day thinking, whatever they thinking, and whatever they're thinking is completely different from reality. Y'all know some people like that. Everybody knows some people like that. that's just acting like, whatever that they say is what it is, and oh, the grass is purple and the sun is, blue, and it's like, what? No, it's not. And you can't tell them nothing. Some people just not honest with themselves. So you can't expect a person who is not honest with themselves to take your honest advice in a kind way, because you're messing with their whole psychological order, and they not trying to hear that. They're like, no, no, this is what it is, and that's it. Your advice is unwelcome, and that could cause an issue. So those type of people, you have to let them live their fantasy. And that's real talk. I mean, you hate to see it. Sometimes you just try to save people from hardship because you care about them. Listen, sometimes you can't save people. Sometimes people need to go through their journey so they can evolve through their lessons, and so they can grow. You can't stop people from doing what they want to do, especially when they got that mindset up to do it. All you can do is be a supportive friend. Okay? Some people are really are touchy, like really sensitive, about certain subjects or topics. If you're gonna talk about a subject where in the past they have been, touchy, and have been super emotional about it, or have gotten upset about it, then that's not what you want to do. You don't want to give them any advice about something that they are already upset with. They're already sensitive about. You feel me? So, because that's not going to go in your direction. You're not going to land what you was trying to land at all. Because you already know this is a sensitive spot. But, and that's something to keep in mind with every person you deal with. Everybody's differently. You have to determine if what you're doing or saying is worth losing the friendship. And that's real talk. Okay, you gotta remove your feelings from the situation, about saving them. I just really want, to tell this person this because, I don't like the way her boyfriend talked to her, the way her boyfriend treat her. So I'm gonna tell her, don't listen. That's her boyfriend. She wants to be with him. If she does not want to be with him, she will not be with him. You being, salty about the relationship. Oh my God. You being salty about the relationship and talking negative about her man, and, always saying negative stuff is not being a friend. She's not going to be experiencing that as a friendship and as good advice. She's going to be looking at it like you hating, you don't like what they have, and she's going to start blocking you out. And that's just something that you definitely need to keep in mind when you start giving your opinion about something that's not your business. I hate to say it. We will jump in somebody's business when we feel a certain way, but you got to remove your feelings. That is the biggest thing that you got to do to avoid those emotional chain reactions is to calm your feelings down. You got to stay in your lane. And that's real talk. Nobody want to, hear somebody coming out the net. Think about it. If somebody came at you talking about, oh, such and such, listen, yeah, I see you doing this and I see you doing that and I don't like it. What you gonna say? What you gonna say? You gonna say, so, this is my life. This is my situation, and it's none of your business. And that's real talk. So when you're doing it to somebody else, you have to expect that same kind of energy. And rarely is it received in the best of light. So you really have to take time to assess and determine that, what you want to say or do. And usually it's best to do nothing at all, honestly. Now it's different when it comes to life or death. Don't get me twisted. If you know that somebody's life is in danger, that's something you can deal with. You can live with that. Like, you know what? This may be the end of our friendship, but I know if she go here, he gonna, hurt her for real. Then you have to say something. You have to do all you can. That's completely another situation. So that's why I'm saying you have to assess the situation. You can't just be, based off of your feelings integrating yourself in other people's lives, and because that is the quickest way to cause an emotional chain reaction and to end a relationship, whether it's a friendship or a romantic relationship. And nobody wants that because your intentions were only good. So you're going to feel bad about it. Like, you're going to feel like, oh my God, like I was really just trying to help. I was just really, trying to, and this is after the arguing, the hanging up on. After all of that, you're going to be stuck in your feelings like, damn, I didn't mean for it to go like this. And I'm telling you, at the end of the day, you just have to decide to be their friend. You have to decide to be their friend in a way that sits well with your conscience. Let me give you an example. Say, for instance, a friend of yours had a boyfriend you didn't like. Okay, listen. You don't have to be negative about him to her. You don't have to turn your face up every time she brings his name up or say she with him or whatever. No, you just, okay, good girl, you having a good time. Okay, girl, so you ain't get here, da da da. But if you throw on a party, he don't have to be invited. Who missed it? He don't have to be invited. Okay, so you just need to do what you need to do for you to be a good friend with your conscience, within your conscience. Without sacrificing yourself. But as far as you wanting them to do something or change something, that's not your place. And unfortunately, a lot of us, who love hard, and we got people in our life that we just totally just want to be, to help and change and love our friends. Sometimes it comes out wrong and they take it wrong, and then we're stuck with these emotional chain reactions and these negative ones, and we don't want that. So I'm trying to talk to y'all about it today because that friend in LA, I mean, she was my ride or die. We were friends. I wish that we had met in a time where we were both more emotionally mature, and that was, something that, it just left a bad taste in my mouth. It left a scar in my heart. I wish things had been different, between us. And definitely not the last, time I saw her being, handcuffed and put in a police car. That was the last thing I would have ever wished, for her, but during the time, I felt like, you're not going to talk to me in no kind of way. You're not going to disrespect me. And, and they were fighting and, and it was just, the aftermath was this emotional chain reaction of pain that I felt because I mourned our friendship. And it didn't have to get there. I had to glow up my emotional maturity, and that's where I am now. And that's why I'm doing this video, because I hope I can help some lives and change some lives, and for some people to, not make the same mistakes that I have had in my past, and so to help glow up their emotional maturity. Okay? At the end of the day, it's, give positivity, to them. Give them positivity. Think about that. If you telling somebody to change or to do something differently, you're basically telling them that what they're doing ain't right or it ain't good enough. And nobody wants to hear that. And they usually receive it very negatively. So instead, give positivity, and, the best way to do that is, say, for instance, they calling you 100 times. Imagine a girlfriend is calling you 100 times talking about this boyfriend. He done, yelled at her, cheated on her again, not doing what he's supposed to do again for the 100th time. You tired of it. Like I said, be a friend that is comfortable. Be the friend that you're comfortable with being. Okay? So instead of taking that 100th conversation, 100th phone call, you tell her you busy, or respond back with text, I'm busy, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm super busy, love you, can't talk right now. Let's set up a time this week to get together and have lunch. So instead of, all of your time being monopolized with, her constantly talking about this guy who's treating her wrong, you want her to leave, she won't. You set up a date and a time where y'all can have this conversation. So you do it so it works for you. Because sometimes, we say, you know what, I'm her friend and it is my business because she called me and talk about it all the time. Well, you have to change the scenario so that it works for you and y'all still remain friends. Okay, because it sounds like, whatever that person may be going through, they have to go through it to get to the other side. And you have to allow that. And you have to give positivity and not that negativity, okay? And it's so real. It's so real because we can be as positive as we want and it will come out 100% negative to them. So that is why it's best not it's best unsaid. It's best unsaid, and it's best to just be there as a supportive role, not as an actor in their life. Not as somebody who has, you know, not somebody who is there to change what they're doing or how they feel. Okay, that's important. And don't make them feel bad because you want to save them or steer them in the right direction. Think of these steps. Every time you interact, with people that you really care for, really, really anyone, honestly, because you'd be surprised, it could be, you can offend a stranger and that thing will stick with you. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God. Okay, so I went to Texas. That reminds me of a story, dog. I have a story for y'all. It's horrible. It's horrible, but a stranger. I was at a grocery store and I was asking, for asking around. Just got a conversation with the store clerk, and I was like, "Oh, I'm in town for a couple of days. I really, really want some good Mexican food. I really want some good Mexican food. Do you know a place around here that has some really good Mexican food?" And I could see that the guy's face got super tight, and I'm just like, what's going on? And he said to me, well, there's a really good Hispanic restaurant down the street. They have really good Hispanic food. And, so if you really want Hispanic food, then you need to go to that Hispanic restaurant. Y'all, I mean, I wasn't expecting that. So obviously I offended him when I said Mexican. I didn't know. But that's what I'm saying. How you have to assess the situation prior to being verbal in the situation because you never know who you can offend. So you have to keep those steps in mind. And a lot of times it's just assessing and just being supportive and positive. And immediately you have to address it. I said, you know what? I apologize. I didn't know. I'm from Baltimore, not a large Hispanic population, and I started using that terminology. I said, not a large Hispanic population. And he said, oh, it's okay. And, so he gave me a pass. But, I could have said, well, I didn't know. How am I supposed to know? They say Mexican where I'm from, or been in any way negative. It could have turned into something worse. But even still, I think about it sometimes. And I'm like, oh, I got a lot to learn, y'all. Still learning, So don't beat yourself up. Just keep pushing, because we're here to do that emotional laundry, y'all. We're here to do that emotional laundry. And I had to clear my chest of that and say, you know what, I didn't know, and I forgive myself, and I'm keeping it moving, you know. Using these tips, can shield you from, a wildfire of emotional fallout. It can shield you from the loss of friendships, the loss of relationships. It's just those steps, assessing the person. Is this person honest with themselves? Is this person, believes, what they say is true even when that's nowhere near reality. A lot of people aren't they here with us in reality, but they believe something else. You be surprised. I've met a lot of people who are just do not think about like things in actual terms of what they are. They think, oh yeah, I'm gonna open up a restaurant. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And I'll be like, Your credit score is 2. Like, how is that possible? You know what I mean? So, like, they think fantasy, like a fantasy. Like, whatever they think of, it can happen. Like, childlike almost, And you can't keep things 100 and super real and give people advice like that because they won't, a lot of times they won't accept it. It won't, they definitely won't accept it in a positive way. They perceive it as negativity, like you're trying to stomp on their dream, stomp on their world. And, that's not what you're trying to do. You're just trying to help them, actually accomplish what they said that they want to do. But they have to come into reality with you to do it. And they're not feeling you. All they hear is negative, negative. You tearing down their dreams. So, you have to assess the person before you just start, giving your opinion and, you giving them your take on things or what they should do or how they should change whatever they're doing in order to actually get to where they're trying to go. They have to go walk their own path. They have to have their own lesson, and then you have to determine is what you're saying worth the friendship. Let me tell you, and I hate to say it, but too often do I listen to people that, that I talk to, whatever, and sometimes people just not ready for the reality of, what's going on or what it takes. And you know what? I'm not, I'm not exempt. Sometimes, sometimes we all can think, fanciful, like, we believe that something is easier than what it actually is, or we could do something that we actually can't. Sometimes I think I could do, 12, 20 things a day and I only get to 2, but I'm like, oh, and I'm about to end the day, I'm calling everybody to reschedule, but it is what it is. Sometimes you have to let people walk the path in order to see for themselves. Okay. And, I tell these stories, guys, to help people to, navigate these kind of emotions. You know, some of you guys will learn. Some of you guys will learn. And some of you guys will heal. From the stories that I tell, and and some of you guys will forgive yourselves for some things that you may have done in your past, and some of you will share this information to people who need to hear it, and I love that. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here bearing my soul and being transparent, so that someone else out here can heal. And that's what it's all about. When you put good out into the world, it comes back to you. Just like if you put negativity out in the world, it comes back to you. And that brings us right back to those emotional chain reactions. If you put negative on somebody, they perceive it as negativity, that's all you want to get back. So you keep that in mind every time you want to, give your 2 cents to help somebody, because they may not perceive it, as help. So, I just want to make sure that, oh yes, I hope you guys will have your drink, because this is Healing Wine and Story Time, y'all. And we have to relax on this Friday and talk about all the beautiful things that, we want for ourselves, and wash this emotional laundry so we can go ahead and, heal, go into tomorrow, go into next week, go through 2021 in positive respect, not carrying baggage from 2021, not carrying baggage from 2010, not carrying baggage no more. We're going to heal ourselves, and we're going to share our stories. If anybody wants to come on and, come on live with me on Instagram and Facebook, just X out the app on Facebook. Well, not the app, but X out the live, and then come back in, and she'll have a request to join button. I would love to hear from you guys. Facebook too. Hey, Brittany. So, yes, guys, I definitely, I do these lives because it's so important for me to share my knowledge to the next generation, y'all. Okay, because I'm telling you, my teens and my 20s and even my early 30s, you guys, cluster fuck. Like, did not know. like I was just learning as I was going. And that's not the best way to do it. I wish that there were, social media and TED Talks and these web shows and stuff like this that make it so easy to learn from people like myself on how to do things the right way, how to break down my emotions and how to interpret them, and how to grow in a positive way. So now that there is Instagram and Facebook and Bigo Live, I share this platform with anyone who wants to communicate on how to, on how to heal and grow in their emotional life. We all about the emotional glow up in 2021. That's what it's about for me. And I want to make sure that, everyone who can hear me knows that, whatever you do and whatever that you have done that you regret, that you may feel guilty about, that you need to forgive yourself. You need to forgive yourself. We all are born without a manual on how to live life. We all may have said and done some things to hurt others, and have inadvertently hurt ourselves in the process. And you should not carry that on. If you feel like, if there's a way to maybe, communicate with the person to end it, maybe. But sometimes it's better to let things scab, and it's up to you where you are in your life. But you need to accept it, and you need to forgive yourself for it. You may can't make amends, and that's fine. But if you keep putting good out into the world, good will keep coming back to you. And nobody is judging you. Nobody. So you need to stop judging yourself. And that's real talk. You need to stop judging yourself. Okay? We all have said and done some things that, think back on it, you're like, God, like if these people where I'm at knew that I did this or I was a part of this. But you need to let that go. Because every new day, we get another opportunity to be our best selves, to win, to glow up, to start over, to give love and light into the world. And that's what we want to do. That's where your focus should be, not on the mistakes. Are you carrying on the baggage of something that you did when you were 8 years old? No. Well, it's the same thing. Yesterday, we were always younger than we are today. Yesterday, we were always younger than we are today. And today, we're always going to know more than what we did yesterday. So you can't beat yourself up for not knowing what you know now yesterday. Okay? You get a pass. Heal yourself. Heal yourself. Forgive yourself so you can heal. Forgive yourself. And you know what? I had to do that because, maybe one day I'll have a healing wine, a story time, and I'll tell y'all about some things in my life, like some stupid, deep things in my life that, was so just life-threatening that, if things had gone different, I wouldn't be here. But because I am here, I know it's for a purpose. And if there's anybody out there that wants to talk or communicate with me one-to-one, I'm here. I have a text family. I send, emotional or inspirational and healing messages out, a couple times a week. And, my text family, they can text back, emojis, pictures, we connect. I give out that number because, sometimes we have been in places in our life where maybe we felt like we didn't have any support or anybody there. And I never, because I was there, I never want anybody to feel like they don't have support. Okay, so my text line is 404-737-1473. And you can text SAFE to that number. So text SAFE to 404-737-1473. Okay, guys. So that's emotional chain reactions for real. Honestly, in my 20s, my boyfriends and stuff like that, throughout that 10 years, I was like, I used to argue, and yeah, I used to get so angry that they did not want to take the information and the advice that I wanted to give them. I'm like, I'm only trying to help you, and they would push it away. They would ignore me. They would, I was completely emasculating them. I didn't know that. I was completely emasculating them. I didn't learn about emasculation until my 30s. You know, um, just because you know something that somebody else doesn't know, doesn't mean that you need to, you know, what is it, oppress them with, your information or your advice. Because like I said, people have to walk their own path. They have to glow up themselves. They have to grow and learn, and they have their own journeys. And like I said, if it's life or death, of course. I mean, of course, it goes without saying. You have to, communicate to them. You need to do this and do your best to make sure that they don't go into harm's way. But, if it's just because you want to help and you have not assessed the situation that, hey, this person, just doesn't take advice. I have offered the advice several times. They don't take it. You have to stop. You have to stop because, in my 20s, oh my God, I used to oppress my advice on my boyfriends, and they was not here for it at all. Like, in the arguments that used to ensue, because then I'm catching the attitude, like, I told you should have did it. You know what I mean? Just negativity. It was just negative. I didn't know. I was like, I told them they should have did it. They didn't do it, and that's why you up there. You're stupid. You don't got this, and now you look like that, and now you want this. What you want now? Because what you want, mess it up again? I'm sarcastic. Just negative, negative, negative. Just poisoning the relationships. I didn't know. I thought I was helping them, and if I got sarcastic, maybe they'll start doing the right thing. Wrong, wrong, and wrong. And then, then I'm left with this cycle of emotional chain reactions where I'm hurt and feeling guilty. And of course, I've fractured the relationship, beyond repair because, I would go in and, when I say, I mean, just with the arguments, the things that you would say, in the heat of an argument because you're just so frustrated with the person, the things they would say, the things you would say. Now the relationship is just at a point where you don't even want to be friends. And I had too many of those at account. I had to learn how to talk to people. And I had to learn these 3 steps that I'm giving y'all today, to assess people, assess the person. Is this person the type of person to, take information and for the better? Is this person, touchy about certain topics? Is this person honest with themselves? Do they live in reality or do they live in fantasy land? Is this person they put their foot down and decided they're not going to do what I said, and so I'm going to stop pushing it. So you have to assess the whole situation and then determine if what you need to say is it so important that you're willing to lose the friendship. And if it's not, keep it to yourself. Let that person grow from doing whatever they need to do. Let me tell y'all, we got a lot to do. We got a lot to do. A lot of us have businesses, families, homes, kids, our credits to get together, trips to go on. We don't got time to spend our energy trying to run somebody else's life because we feel strongly about it because we want to save them. It's not up to us. It's not. You know, you have to be able to grow emotionally to be able to say, oh, you know what, I love you, you're my friend. I personally hate, this is internal. I personally hate that you're going through this, but I'm still going to be your friend and give you nothing but positivity while you go through it. I'm just going to, try to separate myself from the situation to some degree so that I'm comfortable, you know, and that's, I think that's the most important thing. Finding a comfort zone in the friendship, um, aside from you getting them to change or trying to impose your change upon them or whatever you want them to do different. You have to let that go. We can't control other people. We can't control other people. You have to be okay with not controlling other people. And a lot of people don't even realize that's what they're doing. They'll get mad at you for not making the change they suggested. That's completely out of bounds. That's outside your lane. That's not your job. Your focus is to love and be there and support your friend, not to change them who they are. They have to walk their own journey. They have to grow through their own journey. And that's 100. That's 100%. That needs to be taken so seriously, to everyone, who is listening, because so many relationships are tarnished and broken because, someone has tried to change someone else. We see it a lot in relationships, a woman trying to change a man. A lot of times that, ends in, emasculation of the man and, regret and hurt from the woman, and, we see that, a lot in, men try to change women, try to get them, to, cook and clean and dote on them or wait on them or whatever they want them to do to be how they think what right is, and even when you're picking your partner and being when you're in a relationship, you have to let your partner be who they are. You just have to let them be who they are. I don't care if your way has been the most efficient and the most effective, and you want them to be efficient and effective too, so y'all could be a winning team. That's the best thing. We get it. But that person has to get there on their own, outside of you. Your relationship can't be you always, telling them how to be efficient, get your act together, come on, so we can win, because that's not positive, and honestly, it's gonna kill the sexual chemistry in a relationship because all they get is negativity, and negativity is not gonna get them hard. Okay, so that's something that you definitely have to, take into, account when you're trying to, help and save people out here. Because if it's not life or death, you gotta let them walk their journey. And when you have girlfriends and stuff like that, you have to decide, if that advice is gonna be worth, again, losing the relationship. Because, with girlfriends, y'all could be catty, but as long as it's not toxic, like that girlfriend that I had years ago. But y'all can be, you can be catty, but you gotta watch what you say. You can't be catty and saying stuff below the belt, stuff that, they're sensitive about, or something that's a touchy situation, something that's going to really hurt them, because that's not fair. That's not being positive. That's not being positive. And honestly, that catty stuff needs to stop and let you. We need to be building each other up, y'all. It's too many things that's tearing us down. We need to be building each other up, for real. Okay. Is there anybody that wants to go on live with me? Any stories anyone wants to share? Okay. We got about 6 more minutes. And I'm going to tell you guys, my lives are always available for rewatching on my YouTube channel. You just visit infinitewaters360.com and scroll down to the YouTube icon. It'll be on YouTube tomorrow. And if anybody wants to read up on cognitive behavioral therapy and how, behavioral reactions and emotional reactions, play a major part in our confidence and self esteem, check out my blog on EarringEverything.com and check out the Boss Bay blog, and you'll be able to see a recapture of today's live, and they'll have some links to some professionals who talk about cognitive behavioral therapy. Okay. Well, guys, once again, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And thanks for watching. And I love bearing my soul to you guys because I know that somebody needs to hear these things that I'm saying, and I'm just so happy to be in a place where I can do it and communicate with you guys. If anybody want to be a part of my text family, you can text SAFE to 404-737-1473. Okay. Thank you for another successful live, guys. Let me see here. I was once destroyed. Now I'm an asteroid, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. You guys have a great Friday.